system. The people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Hi, I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood catch-up man, and welcome back to Source and Order. This is episode 35, where we're going into the Blaise Taylor trial, and we're breaking down what's been going on for each of the trial day. We're currently on we're finishing off on day 2, going on to day 4. And it's getting very interesting now because it's starting to take shape. The last episode we heard testimony from from Blaise Taylor's family members, not family members, but friends of friends of Jade Benning. Sorry, not Blaise Taylor. What am I saying? Friends of Jade Benning, close friends, and we're gonna continue on with with their testimonies today. Today we are going into days 2 to 3 to 4. So now, without let's orient ourselves. What have we learned about this case? Well, we've learned that Jade Benning was pregnant with Blaise Taylor's child, and Blaise and she wanted to keep it. We have also learned that she was going to culinary school and she was going to become a chef, and she loves cooking. We also learned that Jade Benning also was not an alcoholic, but she was into recreational drugs. She was into recreational drugs such as marijuana and mushrooms, but she never done anything of cocaine. And we've also got to learn that there was a split with Blaise Taylor and Jade Benning before in November, and then they rekindled their relationship in February, around that time, and they were having a date night, which is how Jade ended up having the issues that she was having that night, that made her go into hospital. We also learned that Blaise thought that these issues were that they were allergies that she was having, that she was having allergic reactions, but it turns out no, that she wasn't having an allergic reaction. That apparently the people around that time were saying that she was poisoned. All of her friends that were around were saying that she was actually poisoned, that's what she was going through. So we're gonna get into this week's testimony, especially because we're gonna hear from the medical examiner. We are also gonna hear from the toxicologist, and we're also going to hear from Jade Benning's best friend, Nigel Jackson, who detailed a lot about her life. We're going to hear from her today, and we're also going to hear from, I believe that's it. I believe those are the people that we're gonna hear from. We're also gonna hear from I believe that's it. I believe those are the people. So without further, let's get into the witnesses and hear what their testimony entails. Without further, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Oh my gosh.
He started talking over me and then says, "You act like you care about her more than I do, and that's the mother of my child."
And then shared with Najee and edited a few times. This was the final draft that she texted to Blaise at 4:37 p.m. on 11/6/2022.
And can you read that to the record, please?
Yes.
So those are the witnesses that are going to be taking shape, that are going to be testifying on today's show. We're gonna go into first the data forensics expert, and because his testimony, he went through all of Jade's technology, all of Jade's phone messages, her digital footprint, to try and ascertain what Jade was really about. He went through the messages that happened on that day, and yeah. So without further, let's get into the first witness that we have that testified on day 3, I believe. The first witness that we're gonna show on the show. So he goes by the name of I forgot his name. Damn, I forgot his name. He goes by the name of Thomas Miller, and he is a digital forensics expert. So yeah, let's get into his testimony.
Is 68. Can you describe what is shown here?
So this is a snapshot of the notes application, or a portion of the notes application that was in Jade's device.
And can you describe when the note was created?
It was created on 11/6/22 and at 4:11:27 p.m. And a note is one of those that you can constantly keep modifying, adding to, taking away from. So it has a last modified date as of the 8th of that same month.
And
So just to give an idea of what's going on right now, Jade has sent messages to Blaise to come over to dinner. To come over to dinner, basically. Jade, she had basically sent a message saying that she has a plan for both of them, and you can come dressed up, etc. Come to my house, etc. And Blaise was like, "Sounds good," and Jade was loving it. So basically, it gives the impression that they were basically in a good mood, and they were going to have a good dinner, a good date night, so to speak. And Thomas Miller is testifying to here is the message that Jade had basically sent to the defendant, saying, "I think that we might as well cut out the communication or whatever between us, because we can't keep opening and closing this door. When I have made the decision, you said how you felt and what you do or don't want. I respect and I respect it, and will not involve you at any point. My appointment." So if my appointment is on the 16th of November, so if you change your mind, if your mind changes or anything, feel free to reach out at any time. But other than that, I feel like we just be running in circles and continuing to communicate. That was the message that was sent by Jade Benning to Blaise Taylor. Don't know why I went blank there. Well, that was the message that was sent by Jade Benning to Blaise Taylor on November 6th. So we're going to get into a testimony now.
can you read the body of that note?
Yes. I think that we might as well cut out the communication or whatever between us, because we can't keep opening and closing this door when I've made the decision. You said how you felt and what you do or don't want, and I respect it and will not involve you at any point. My appointment is the 16th, so if your mind changes or anything, feel free to reach out at any time. But other than that, I feel like we will just be running in circles, continuing to communicate.
And can you explain, there's a summary section, do you know how that's created?
It's created by the application and is actually just in the line item of all your notes. It'll actually give you just like kind of a little snapshot of what's in that note.
And the next page.
So this was the note that was composed to be sent to Blaise Taylor, which was sent anyway. It was sent in a message to Blaise Taylor,
Which is 69. Can you describe what's shown here?
A series of texts between Nigea and Jade on 11/6/22, starting at 12:49:50 p.m.
And can you read out the time and the content of the messages on this page.
Yes, at 12:49:50 p.m., Jade states, Blaise talking about the current situation in quotations. And then she follows up, again, Jade to Nigella, at 12:50:06 p.m. I'm going to tell him today I'm not having the abortion so he can just get it out of his head. Nigella responds at 12:51:11 p.m. like he had the opportunity to talk yesterday and didn't. Nigella.
What's apparent here, especially with the message that she just sent there to Nigeria Justin saying I'm gonna tell him that I'm not gonna get the abortion so he can get out of his head. That's very, very key, because for one, it shows that they were definitely talking about the abortion, and they were definitely, I'm talking about Jade and Blaise Taylor, that they were definitely talking about having the abortion. This is what the case rests on, because the states are basically putting on evidence, and what they've been showing so far is that Blaise is responsible for this because he didn't want to take care of his child. He didn't want to have anything to do with his child. So he had basically poisoned Jade so that she could not have this child. That's basically the case that they're putting on. So this is going a long way into proving that idea, into showing the idea that that essentially Blaise was wanting an abortion, and of course, as we now know, as we can tell from the messages, that this wasn't something that Jade Benning wanted.
Then follows up with, at 12:51:18 p.m., she laughed at Jade's, she responded to Jade's text by laughing at it or doing a ha-ha quotation above the text. And then she follows up with LMAO, get it out of his head because it's a wrap, at 12:51:30 p.m. Jade then responds at 12:51:38 p.m., literally, and was being awkward, trying to have other conversations to avoid. At 12:51:46, Jade responded to the message from Nigella, emphasizing her message about it's a wrap. Then Nigella texts Jade at 12:51:53 p.m. because it's happening. Nigella follows up with, do you think my story should have a song or no? Referring to a post or something along those lines, I'm guessing, at 12:52:08 p.m. And then Jade responding, he's gonna be like, but why? It just makes no sense for us. Like, expletive, shut it down, at 12:52:12 p.m. And then she finishes with, yeah, give it a little song, at 12:52:43 p.m.
And the next page, which is 70.
Same.
So it's more messages between them.
Correct. Do you have a follow-up with reading them all?
Yes.
Okay. At 12:52:49 p.m., Isaiah says he most def is going to be on that. Jade responds at 1:10:44 p.m. It's all good though. It is what it is. Jade then follows up with, I told my dad yesterday. That was at 1:10:48 p.m. Isaiah says, oh, expletive, how'd that go? At 1:11:05. Isaiah then sends a photograph with no context, and then Jade responds, it went really good. He cried. I've never seen him cry other than my grandma's sister's funeral at 1:12:14 p.m. Isaiah responded, cried, question marks, and then a series of emojis at 1:12:24. And then Isaiah then followed up with, stop it, Dennis, at 1:12:29 p.m. And then Jade finishes this page with, but he told me basically the same as my mom, that he would support me either way, at 1:12:43 p.m.
Okay, so we might actually hear from the family members. I have no idea, but we might actually hear from the father. We might actually hear from the mother as well. I have no idea because I'm still on day 4. So I don't know. By the way that the case is going, I think that it's becoming a possibility that they're gonna save those kind of family testimonies for maximum impact near the end. So they can garner a lot of sympathy towards the jury, acting as emotional anchors. that's what I'm thinking is it's going to happen with the way that the state are setting up. But we might hear from those family members.
In the next page, which is 71, can you describe what shown here?
At 1:45, 12 p.m., Jade texts Nigea, "I'm about to talk to this expletive." Nigea responds like, "WTF?" At 1:45, 32 p.m., Nigea then says, "Let me know how it goes." At 1:45, 36 p.m., again, Nigea sends a photograph without any context. And then at the bottom, Jade finishes up with, "I think that we might as well cut the ties, communication, or whatever between us."
Is that a draft of basically that note that you've already testified to?
Yes.
And that's Jade sending that to Nigea, is that correct?
Correct.
And there's a photograph in the message that Nigea sends Jade at 2 o'clock and 29 seconds. This next page, which is 72, can you describe what this is?
That's the photograph that she submitted in that message.
And the next page, which is 73, can you describe what's shown here?
These are responses that Nigea sent Jade of edited versions, I guess is the best way to describe it, as she read the message that Jade was considering sending to Blaise. She shared it with Nigea, and Nigea gave her thoughts on it.
And that last message on this page is at 5:11:59 p.m. Can you describe what that is?
Jade sent Nigea a picture with no context.
And the next page, which is 74, can you describe what that is?
It appears to be a Kroger website image of organic basil.
And is that the image that was in that previous message?
Yes.
And the next page, which is 75, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a message that Jade sent to Blaise Taylor's device with the final draft, if you will, of the message she had started in notes and then shared with Nigea and edited a few times. This was the final draft that she texted to Blaise at 4:37 p.m. on 11/6/2022.
And can you read that to the record, please?
Yes. After multiple conversations, I think it may be best that we go ahead and cut the ties of communication between us. We can't keep opening and closing this door when I've made the decision I have. We will continue to run in circles of communication about the situation when we know we are not in agreement with the situation. You said how you felt and stated that moving forward, you want no parts, so I will let it be just that. I will not involve you at any point. I will love this child unconditionally with or without you. I informed you that my appointment is on the 16th, so if your mind changes between now and then, the choice is yours to show up or not. So with that being said, there's nothing left for me to say. Have a great rest of your day, Blaise.
And the next page, which is 76, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's another view of her sending that exact same text on the 6th of November.
And is that the thread between Jade Benning and Blaise Taylor?
That is the thread, yes.
What is the next message that occurs after the November 6th, 2022?
Almost 2 months later, on 12/31/22 at 4:26:02 p.m., Jade texts Blaise's device stating, "I'll be off in about 30 or 45 minutes. I will call you when I leave."
And can you describe in Jade's iPhone, does it capture every single phone call that she makes?
Not all of her phone calls. Well, it does capture all of them, yes. Inherently, phones do capture all phone calls, but not. Well, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it does capture phone calls.
Is it possible that that phone call occurred through a third-party app?
It is possible.
Because it appears she's responding to something, but nothing happened.
That is correct.
Did you look for evidence of what would have occurred between Jade Benning and Blaise Taylor prior to her sending this text message?
Yes.
And did you find anything related to that?
I did.
And what was that?
I found a message or a text string between Jade and Nigea. Jade had texted Nigea a photograph of a missed call from Blaise. She had taken a screen capture of her locked phone that she had missed a call from Blaise, so it shows that on her screen, and she texts that to Nigea. Nigea responded as though you would think she would. She was surprised because it had been a serious period of time since they talked, and then Jade seemed excited about the fact that he was calling.
And can you describe what's shown here? That is 77.
Yeah, it's just further detail of the slide we were just looking at, the text.
And this is 78, which is kind of just talking about that time frame of November 4th, 2022 to February 25th, 2023. Did you specifically kind of look at any contact that they would have had during that time frame?
Yes.
And specifically, did you look at Jade's activity during that specific time frame?
Yes.
And do the next few slides kind of focus in on things related to her and her actual pregnancy?
Yes, it does.
And this next page, which is 79, can you describe what is shown here?
Yes, these are a series of calendar entries that were on her device, and then just below that, a series of text confirmation that you would typically receive from like a doctor's office or something along those lines, confirming the dates and times of those appointments that were listed above, of some of the appointments that were listed above, I should say.
And the next page is 80, which is kind of a zoomed-in image of a portion of the previous slide. Can you
Correct.
read into the record the dates of these appointments?
Yes, the titled doctor appointment at Vanderbilt Women's start date and time was 11/16/22 at 1:40 p.m. The following is a second OB appointment at 12/28/22 at 3:40 p.m. A third OB appointment or an anatomy scan at 2/2/23 at 9:45 a.m. I had to look this up, a non-invasive prenatal test for the blood work on 2/6/23 at 9 a.m. The following is a third OB with an Allison Mullally on 2/10/23 at 11:40 a.m. An ultrasound on 3/9/23 at 9:05 a.m. A glucose test on 3/9/23 at 11 a.m. And then a Little Sprouts spring and summer pop-up sale on 3/21/23 at 4:30 p.m.
And that first appointment was on November 16th of 2022, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And this next page is 81. Can you describe what's shown here?
It's a detailed portion of a video that we're about to show that was taken at 2:13:34 p.m. on 11/16/22.
And can you describe what is shown here on 82?
It's a video that appears to be inside a doctor's office, videotaping an ultrasound being displayed on a screen in a dark office.
And is that one of the video files that will be on the disk?
It is.
And the next page, which is 83, can you describe what's shown here?
It's the details for another video that we're about to display that was taken shortly after at 2:59:50 p.m.
And that is on November 16th of 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
And that is a still image on page 84 of your report. Can you describe what that video is?
Yes, it is showing Jade walking out of the appointment, seemingly pretty excited to the point of having to remove her mask to show her smile.
And is that video on the disk as well?
Yes.
And the next page, 85, is a duplicate of the previous page. Can you describe, these are all of the appointments that she has, correct?
As they relate to the pregnancy, it's not every appointment that she had in her calendar.
Okay. And that Little Sprouts event, was there additional information on her phone about that?
I don't recall if there
Is
was.
it possible there were messages that related specifically to that?
Yes, there were. I'm sorry. Yes.
And that was scheduled to occur on March 21st, is that right?
Yes.
And this next page is 86. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, Jade had created 2 boards on her Pinterest account, one titled Baby Nursery Inspiration and the other titled Baby Shower Ideas. First one was created or started on 12/16/22 at 10:39 p.m. and the other was created or started on 1/16/23 at 8:48 p.m.
And this next image kind of takes us a little bit out of sequence, but can you describe what is shown here on page 87?
Yes, it's a series of texts between Jade and Blaise on 9/28/22 starting at 9:45:35 a.m.
I think that's our
And
family.
this next page, 88, can you describe
I
what's
think
shown
that's
here?
our family.
It's a detail. It's the details for the very first text, just kind of giving a little bit more in-depth look at the starting of the conversation.
And this next page, which is 89, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's a continuation of the same conversation the same day, just a little bit later on at 6:52:01 p.m. Between again Jade and Blaise.
And can you read into the record the content of that message at 6:52:01?
Yes, that very first message from Jade to Blaise. I want to come stay with you again tonight. Blaise responds at 10:59:38 p.m. Yes, that's fine. So sorry, I definitely thought I'd responded, just was getting ready for bed and was like, dang, she hasn't responded back. And it was me who didn't respond with an emoji. Jade then responds at 11:04:46. LOL, it's all good. I'm finishing up at the gym. I'll come there in a minute at 11:04:46. And then follows up about 6 minutes later with on my way. Blaise responds at 11:16 that his door is unlocked, and about a minute later, Jade responds, loving his last text.
And were you specifically asked to look to see if they had contact kind of right there at the end of September?
Yes, I was.
And the next page, which is 90, can you describe what's shown here?
This is just a little bit more detail about the very last text that was sent in that string, just giving a little bit more information on it from the beginning to the end of the conversation.
And the next page, which is 91, can you describe it shown here?
There were 4 notes located in her phone that were of a pregnancy mindset. 4 notes were started, one titled baby names, one titled baby list needs, one titled ultrasound appointment, and another titled baby shower.
And the next page, which is 92, can you describe it shown here?
This is a series of line items from her inbox or her email. These are all email lists that she had signed up for that are all either parenting related, baby related, pregnancy related, of that nature. So she had 5 of them that she had actually subscribed to.
And the next page, which is 93, can you describe it shown here?
It's a series of videos that I located inside of her device that were videos of an Amazon checkout, like an in-cart before you check out, so in your basket for Amazon. 2 of those for Amazon, another one for Old Navy, and another for another child-related website, all indicating items that she had in her cart ready for purchase.
And are all 4 of those videos between 2/20/2023 and 2/22/2023?
That's correct, yes. The detailed portion down there at the very bottom is in correlation with the still image directly above it. Again, these are all videos, so these are just a still shot of the video.
And this is 4 separate things that you kind of consolidated?
Correct.
Did you pull every single pregnancy-related item from Ms. Binning's phone?
No, not at all. This is just a sampling of what I located.
Was it somewhat just constant?
Yes.
From the beginning of November until February 25th of 2023?
Yeah, it was very, very constant.
And the next page is 94. Can you describe what's shown here?
An image that made me think she was treating herself right and working with the pregnancy by creating mocktails and posting that to some friends on Snapchat.
And did you specifically look for any evidence of alcohol use, marijuana use, things of that nature?
Correct, yes.
And did you find this kind of looking for that type of thing?
Amongst other things, yes.
And this next image, which is 95, can you describe it shown here?
Yes, it's a photograph of Jade at a local gym, or her gym, and she found it important to say that she noted that we made it to the gym today. So my inference is her referring to her and her unborn.
And what type of artifact is this?
This is a Snapchat artifact.
And what's the date for the record?
It was created on 1/11/23 at 1:03 p.m.
And the next page, which is 96, can you describe what's shown here?
It's a photograph that was taken on February 2nd, 2023 at 9:24 a.m. And again, it appears that she is in a doctor's office with a ultrasound image up on that screen in the room.
And can you describe what is an HEIC file?
It's a high efficiency image container, and it's just a really fancy term for that Apple uses for their images. It's just a very high quality image. So it's very normal to see that inside of an Apple extraction.
And the next image, which is page 97, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is another photograph. This one was just a few minutes after the one we previously looked at. This one's titled 3131.jpg, and it's a photograph inside a doctor's office. Now, looking more like it might be Jade that's getting her ultrasound, because you can almost picture her laying down on her back, taking the picture from her side.
And the date and time of this image.
It's at 2/23 at 10:11:01 a.m.
And the next page, which is 98, can you describe what's shown here?
This is a snap video that was taken on 2/23 at 9:55 a.m.
And the next image, which is 98 and 99, can you describe what's shown here?
Similar to the last. So again, another snap video that was taken just moments later.
Did you include every single image that was been taken from that February 2nd, 2023 appointment? Was it voluminous?
Lots of pictures, lots of them.
And was she taking them on different platforms, your phone, and then also within Snapchat?
That's correct.
And this next image, which is page 100.
This is image titled 3163.jpg. It was taken on 2/23 at 10:12:28 a.m. And again, it's a picture of her holding up her recently received sonogram printout.
And the next page is 101. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a series of text messages that Jade submitted to Blaise Taylor. First one on January 26, 23 at 11:29:08 a.m. She texted a photograph and then followed up with just reminding you that my appointment is next Thursday at 9:45. It shouldn't be longer than an hour. The photograph that she shared is pictured just below the portion that says OB, a third OB anatomy scan. Then she followed up with another text not long after that on January 26, 23 at 12:44 p.m. Okay, hopefully you can make it. I'd love for you to be there when I find out the gender. You coming to importance is very important, and I got cut off. Not so much the body of the text, it's the fact that she was texting him about the appointments is what I was trying to portray in these messages. On 2/5/23 at 11:48 p.m., she texts Blaise, "Sweet dreams, though, about to try and go to sleep since I have to be up early for the appointment," followed up with emoji. And then on 2/10/23 at 12:51:16 p.m., an emoji, and then a doctor's appointment went good. She said everything was normal, just waiting for the test to come back, which will be next week probably.
And that one, I think you read out the message red time. Was the message sent at 12:46:56?
I'm sorry, yes. I apologize. Ref wrong call.
And the next image, which is one C.
All right, before we move on, I just want to make a comment in regards to that message that was sent to Blaise by Jade Benning, where she had basically said that, you know, I'd love for you to be there when I find out the gender. You coming is very important. You're getting the idea that although at first they were not on really speaking terms in regards to this child, they were not seeing eye to eye in regards to the keeping of the child, and Blaise was not really on board. You're now getting the idea that around this January time that they were actually talking again, that they were actually, maybe you're getting the idea that Blaise was actually starting to come around in regards to come around in regards to being involved in this baby's life, in regards to being involved in Jade's life and raising his child. So you're getting that idea here. And yeah, so going through all of this, it's actually quite sad that, you know, it shows how much she was looking forward to this, to having his baby, and then it was just taken, like it was just taken from her. It's actually unfortunate. And to hear the lawyer actually say that it was a drug overdose in the middle of court while they were giving evidence, striking to me, like that they believe it's a drug overdose. I want to see what they have to put on to basically support that idea, because nothing so far is supporting the idea of a drug overdose. Granted, it is the state's presentation of evidence, so then we're not gonna see something like that. But I want to see what they have to show to kind of support the idea.
There are two of the report. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's a photograph of a series of photos that Jade took in her kitchen on February 6, 2023 at 4:39 p.m.
And were you asked to look for specific information related to the camera that is portrayed in this photograph?
Yes, when you're looking at the details for images, I mean, that is one of the things that, depending on the application that you use, is identified in the details of that photograph. If you look down a little bit lower on the right side, a little bit lower than halfway, you can see that it was taken with an Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max, utilizing software version 16.1.1, which was the same as Jade's device.
Which I apologize to Tech Miller. I think my question was confusing. I was referring to the surveillance camera that was on the left side of the stove.
There's that too.
Were you also asked to look for any information related to that camera?
Yes.
And the next image, which is 103 of your report, can you describe what's shown here?
Another photograph taken in that same series.
And the next image, which is 104, can you describe what's shown here?
Another photograph taken not long after, titled 3236.jpg in the same series.
And did you include all of the photographs that Ms. Benning took of her and her sonogram pictures on that February 6, 2023 date?
No, there was quite a few of them.
And the next image, which is 105 of your report, can you describe what's shown here?
Yeah, it's a series of text messages between Jade and her mother.
And can you describe the one at 6:17:03? What, I guess, does that image indicate to you?
A series of photographs were sent in one singular message.
And does that time frame kind of match up to when she was taking those photographs in her kitchen?
It does.
And the next page is 106. Can you describe what's shown here?
Same. It's going to end up being a series of photographs sent in a handful of messages, all containing a series of photographs in each message.
And page 107, is that another image of the 9 images that she sent home on that day?
Yes.
And the next page is 108. Can you describe what's shown here?
Jade, Dexter's mother, took these today at 6:17:10 p.m. And her mother proceeded to start loving each individual picture.
And the next image is 109. Can you describe what's shown here?
Selfie taken on titled 3337.jpg on 2/15/23 at 1:33:20 p.m.
Detective Miller, did you capture every single pregnancy progress post that Ms. Bennington that would be similar to this one?
I did not. Again, this is just a sampling.
Was that something that she was doing on a regular basis during those months?
Yes.
And that's basically all I wanted from him in regards to his testimony. That's basically the bulk of the things that was important that come out of his testimony, because, he has searched the device for evidence of cocaine, searched the device for evidence of procuring drugs like cocaine, for example, communications to reflect trying to get cocaine, do all those things, and there was no evidence whatsoever. There was only evidence for trying to get weed and mushrooms, but that's about it. That was the only recreational drugs that Jade Benning was trying to get, but nothing to do with cocaine, which is really good for the state, because that is essentially what they're saying, that she was giving cocaine as a poisoning agent, as something to intoxicate her with and kill this child. That's basically that she was given that by Blaise Taylor. So I want to see what more that they put up with that. The next witness that we're gonna go into goes by the name of Nigeria Jackson. This was the state star witness that came on day 2. Nigeria Jackson is a friend of Jade Benning, and we're gonna get into her testimony right now, because what she had to testify to was really important and crucial, because she gave background in regards to her relationship with Jade Benning. She gave background in regards to the communications that they were having around that time, that Jade and Blaise Taylor were not really talking too much. She also gave a lot of important testimony to do with learning about the pregnancy, the conversations with her and Blaise about Blaise not really wanting to have the child, etc. So without further, let's get into her testimony now. And this is Nigeria Jackson's testimony to do with in this case. Let's take a listen.
Kind of even more than you normally did.
Yes, I did.
Would you characterize it as almost daily?
Yes.
And at some point, after you moved here, how did you first hear about her dating Blaise Taylor?
She told me she kind of met him a couple months prior to, and it was kind of just, small little conversations. And then when I moved here, she was telling me about this guy she had been seeing.
And do you know how they met?
On Hinge.
And what is Hinge? This video that stood out.
Sorry about that. Let me get back into the testimony. Gosh, where was I? Apologies for that.
Just, small little conversations. And then when I moved here, she was telling me about this guy she had been seeing.
And do you know how they met?
On Hinge.
And what is Hinge?
Hinge is a dating app.
And if she saw him for a date or went over to his house, would she tell you about it?
Yes.
And did she tell you about it often in the beginning?
Yes.
Can you describe what was her kind of attitude and outlook towards him?
She described him as somebody that was like kind of different from her usual type. She was very like optimistic as to like where this could go. She was really enjoying their hangouts and their conversations. So I was like, all right, well, let's see where this goes.
Did she express to you that she wanted to be in a relationship with him?
At a point in time, yes.
And at some point before she found out she was pregnant, so before that, did something happen that kind of changed that positive, optimistic outlook about the possible future with Mr. Taylor?
You said before she found out she was pregnant? There were a couple of incidents at his home with a previous girl.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Okay.
And this is where I got to appreciate
He told me
Trial Channel.
Details. Something happened.
Okay.
Ms. Jackson, without getting into the details of the incident, did something happen where she wasn't as optimistic?
yes.
And then can you describe that time frame when she found out she was pregnant? How did you find out about that?
She texted me and told me that she needed to talk to me, and she then FaceTimed me and she was showing me the maybe like 4 pregnancy tests that were positive.
And are those home pregnancy tests?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that something that she had planned?
No.
Did you, I guess that day, talk to her about that positive pregnancy test a lot?
Yes, I did. I did indeed.
And what did you do to kind of assist Ms. Benning with this new news in her life?
Well, I was telling her because these were at-home pregnancy tests, yes, they are positive, but I think that we should probably go to a clinic to verify. So I was looking at clinics in the surrounding area to see where we could get her in to get an ultrasound.
And were you able to get her an appointment that same day?
Yes,
And was it the very same day or was it the next day?
it was the next day.
Okay. So were you trying to get her an appointment the same
I was trying to get her an appointment the same day, but was told we don't do same-day appointments.
And did you go with her to that appointment?
I did.
And do you remember the date of it?
November the 3rd.
And what happened at that appointment?
They took her back and did vitals, and then I was telling her, don't wait on me to get there so I can be with you for the ultrasound because I wanted to hear the heartbeat with her. And
Did you make it?
yes, I did. And I went to the back with her, and the nurse was asking her if she wanted to, well, I asked her if she wanted to hear the heartbeat, and the nurse kind of verified with her decision, and we heard the heartbeat. And they were measuring like the baby size and confirming like how many weeks she was.
Ms. Jackson, were they able to tell Ms. Benning how many weeks pregnant she was?
Yes.
And was that something where you and her discussed kind of dates when it would have happened?
Yes.
When they gave you that information, did you know who would have been the father of that baby?
Yes.
And do you still have all of your text messages with Jade?
I do.
And was that something where y'all were going through your phones, looking at dates, making sure like when she was where, all of those things in that moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Objection, legal, Your Honor.
Okay, she's answered it, so go ahead without the legal question.
And after that day, did you know what contact Ms. Benning had with Mr. Taylor about learning that she was pregnant and then finding out the exact timing of it?
Yes.
And can you describe, did you read any text messages she had? Did you just talk to her about it? Or kind of how did you get information about her talking to him about it?
She sent me screenshots of his response. She called me to kind of tell me that they were going to have a conversation. So I was pretty much in the loop from day one as to what was going on in her pregnancy.
And can you describe, after she met with Mr. Taylor, what was her attitude after speaking with him?
She was very upset, very disappointed. Obviously it wasn't planned, but I think the response that he gave her was not what she was not necessarily looking for, but hoping for just in terms of a conversation. It seemed more so like he was just not really interested.
Objection going into a hearsay response. No way she can know that without Jade's.
Okay.
She was not stating his words, Your Honor, which would be hearsay. She was
She's right,
describing.
Ms. Benning. I mean, here, so go ahead.
Ms. Benning, after after she talked to him, you were describing that she was disappointed with his response.
Yes.
What was her outlook and attitude even after speaking with him and getting his response?
I feel like Jade was still very hopeful. She was still like, you know what, like if this is how he's gonna act, then I'm just gonna kind of move forward with my life. Like she definitely had a positive outlook on the situation, although his response was very underwhelming.
Did you have any involvement in the last message that Ms. Benning sent Mr. Taylor
I did.
in November? And
Yes.
Can you describe that?
She was pretty much like, she sent me a text that she was gonna send him, basically saying how she was feeling towards the situation, and she sent it to me, and I edited a little bit to kind of be more forward and for her to say what it was that she really wanted to say, and just kind of get her feelings out there regardless of what he was gonna say or not.
And did she
That was the text messages that we just went through that she's just talking about. But it does give a good idea. Like I said, it does give a good idea in regards to the state of the relationship that both Jade and Blaise were having at this point. Because of course we can see now that that Blaise was not really in this relationship. That and this upset Jade. She didn't expect him to not want to be a father. She thought that Blaise would become a father. So you get the idea that Jade is the type that Jade was the type that was really wanting this pregnancy to go forward, wanting him involved in the child's life, and you're getting the idea that Blaise was more of the opposite and just didn't want something like this to be part of his life. Probably saw it as an hindrance.
Did she share with you kind of proof that she sent that message to him?
Yes.
And did he respond?
I don't remember.
Okay. Would that have been close in time to that November 3rd appointment?
Yes.
After she sent that message, are you aware if they talked afterwards in November?
Yes.
And were they talking like on a regular basis, or what do you know about the communication that they had after she sent that text?
The communication between the two of them was very one-sided. Based on the responses that I read, it kind of was in terms of Blaise not really wanting Jade to do certain things, and not like saying he was trying to persuade her not to have the baby, but his response was not in a collaborative effort with wanting to raise the child with her.
And
There you go.
I guess, what was Jade doing about telling other people initially? She told you.
Mhm.
Did she tell anyone else kind of in the beginning, just the first week?
I believe she told her mom, her dad, and I think that's all I remember.
Okay. What was your outlook when she told you that Mr. Taylor didn't want to be involved? What was your outlook, and what were you doing kind of with your relationship with Miss Benning?
I told her that we're sisters at the end of the day. So if I have to be the babysitter, I was like, we will get through this together. I always reassured her that she's never alone. We were both living alone at that time, and her lease was coming to an end. And I was telling her, you know, if we need to live together, if I need to help you, then I will. I went to the appointment.
This is sad. This is sad.
Did you guys end up getting a place together, or what ended up happening?
No, unfortunately, she ditched me on that plan, but she moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, so Ivy could have her own room, and she was like, you know, near school, so she found an apartment that could house the both of them comfortably.
And during that time, kind of after mid-November and December and through the holiday, was Miss Benning planning things for that new apartment and moving?
Yes.
Did she share a lot of that information with you by text message, video calls, and phone calls?
Yes.
And then, can you describe, did y'all see each other over Christmas?
We did not.
And when the kind of new year began in January,
Mhm.
can you describe what happened?
She got word from Blaise, and he reached out to her, wanting to talk to her, and she was very like optimistic about what was going to be said, and that is kind of the basis of that. Whenever the January 1st came around.
And was there a break of time where she had not communicated with him at all?
Yes.
And was that at least 5 to 6 weeks?
Yes.
And you said she was hopeful. Do you know that she met with him and saw him?
She did.
And did she see him every day, or can you kind of describe what information did you have about the contact that they had with each other?
From my understanding and from what I was told, like it wasn't every single day, but they were definitely back in communication. Not normal as it was before she found out she was pregnant, but it appeared to be kind of heading in a direction of which, okay, like where we going with this? And she was very like optimistic of the fact that maybe he might actually be coming back around.
And did you try to support her?
I did.
Did you actually want her to, I guess not want her to get back with Mr. Taylor, but were you a little apprehensive?
A little, but I feel like because it made her happy, that ultimately like that made me happy for her.
And did she tell you kind of every time that she saw him after they started talking again in January?
Yes.
And did she give you specific details about that in messages and on phone calls and things like that?
Yes.
And can you describe what all was Jade planning in that January, February time frame as it related to her baby?
We were planning baby showers. Her birthday was coming up, so we were gonna have a baby shower in Nashville and one in Little Rock. So we were kind of delegating tasks on who was gonna be the coordinator of the Little Rock one and who was gonna be the coordinator of the Nashville baby shower.
And were there appointments related to her pregnancy that happened in February?
Yes.
Which I want to back up a little bit. You talked about going to that November 3rd very first appointment with her.
Mhm.
Did you go to another appointment with her kind of in the beginning, before the end of the year?
Yes.
And was that the November 16th appointment?
Yes.
So January, February, you're planning baby showers. Do you remember when she got her new apartment?
Yes.
And specifically, I guess technically it was a condo, but was it a 2-bedroom versus a 1-bedroom?
2-bedroom.
And was she planning things for the baby's room?
Yes.
Do you remember when she found out if she was having a boy or a girl?
Yes.
And what did she find out?
She was having a girl.
Did you discuss with Ms. Benning names and things like that?
Yes.
Were you able to go to that appointment with her?
The February 2nd one? I was not.
And during that time when she went to the appointment, found that out, was she talking to you about kind of what was going on with her and Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
And did you have any information about whether or not he went to that appointment with her?
Yes.
Judge, also your second.
Okay, you carry her.
I did not ask her what anyone said. I asked her if she had any information.
There would be no way she would know.
Okay, well, she's not answered yea or nay, but I'll sustain that, Judge.
That's basically all that I wanted from that testimony, because everything that she testified to about Jade having a girl, and also Blaise not wanting to be involved in the child's life, etc. All very important testimony for what the trial is shaping up to be. Like, it's really sad that it's going to a point based on the charges against Blaise. It's really sad that it got to this point, but we will continue to we'll continue with her testimony, because she said that Jade never publicized on the media, on social media, about the child. It was just she never publicized about who the father was. Sorry, not a child. Who the father was. She never publicized that, and it was just her basically. And the baby. She also confirmed that Jade would send her and her close friends pictures of the pregnancy. We saw that with the digital forensics examiner, who showed extensive pictures of pictures of the baby and the ultrasounds, etc. So Jade was sending this around. That's what she basically testified to. But the most important part is where we're now going to fast forward to when she gave testimony about going to dinner on the 25th of February 2023 with Keontae, who I believe she was seeing him at the time, and Jade was cooking for Blaise Taylor. So let's get into her testimony right now.
So I called her and I was like, hey, like, what y'all doing? I was like, I'm about to come by and get some food. And she was like, okay. And then I told her that Keontae was going to come with me. And that's how I ended up over there.
And were you planning on going over there?
Yes.
I hate it. I hate it when it does this. Sorry about that. My Google is my Chrome. Let me just sort this out. Go back to the testimony. 1 second. There we go.
And describe kind of how that happened. You were with Keontae, and y'all had been at school.
Yes.
Did you go straight to Jade's?
And
what did you do when you got here?
when we got there, we said hi, and Jade started like packing up the food, and she put the foil on it, put it in a bag, and kind of set it off to the side. And we were just like chit-chatting about what they were gonna paint, and we talked about like going to a concert, and we were laughing at the fact that I didn't know how to play spades. So that was pretty much like the basis of the conversation.
And can you describe Jade's kind of kitchen area when you got there? Was there food out that they were eating, or kind of what was the setup when you got there?
When I got there, the food was on the stove. It was kind of packaged. The canvases were kind of off to the side. The island was pretty clear. I didn't, and Jade had a glass of like a pink drink, and Blaise wasn't drinking anything. There was no cup in front of Blaise.
And did you drink anything while you were there?
I didn't drill.
Was that something you brought with you?
I did not.
What was Mr. Taylor doing, and where was he at in the room?
He was sitting beside Jade at the island, and he was engaging with some of the conversations, and he was just shuffling Uno cards the whole time.
Was anybody playing Uno?
No.
But he was shuffling cards.
Mm-hmm.
And did Mr. Jones, did he interact with Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, like ever so slightly. It was kind of like a conversation just in the kitchen.
And do you know approximately how long you'll stay?
Probably like a little over 15 minutes, like 15 to 30 minutes.
And during that time, did anything seem amiss to you?
Nothing too alarming except the comment he made about his artwork that he was going to make, because the whole basis of this project was to make something for the baby's room.
Hearsay.
It's a statement by the defendant, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't think she's gotten there yet, but do you want to ask about what?
Yes. He said that he made a comment about the painting, what he was going to do. What was his comment?
I had asked like what they were going to paint, and Jade was like, I'm going to make something.
Objection, hearsay.
You care to be heard
I think it's unnecessary, so no. I do think it goes to Jade's state of mind, Your Honor, but
All right, I'll over the objection. It goes into, was that comment from Mr. Taylor right after the discussion with the artwork with Ms. Benning?
Yes.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
what did Ms. Benning say she was planning on painting?
She said that she was going to paint something for the baby's room. She didn't know what yet, but she knew that's what she was going to paint, something to hang in Ivy's room. And when I asked Blaise what he was going to paint, he told me he was going to paint a black hole. And I was like, a black hole? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to call it midnight. The further you look, the deeper you'll go. And I was like, well, okay, But I was like, well, why don't we just add like a little bit of white to the, canvas to make it look a little lively. And that was kind of that. But it was a very dark demeanor about this painting after Jade said that she was going to make something for the baby's room.
And were they actually painting while you were there?
No.
So this was discussions about what we're about to do.
Yes.
And was anything else in this other than the comment that he made about the painting?
Not that I can think of or remember.
And did you get food?
I did.
And did y'all leave?
We did.
And after you left, did you communicate with Jade after you left?
Yes.
And you don't have to tell me what you said, but how did you communicate with her?
I text her.
And did she respond?
Yes.
And did you have a couple of texts back and forth?
Yes.
And can you describe Jade's demeanor when you left?
She seemed really happy. very excited to spend the rest of the night with Blaise, and probably excited that I was leaving now.
When you left, where did you go?
To Keontae's house.
And what did you do when you got there?
I ate my chicken Alfredo.
And were you planning on hanging out with Mr. Jones all night, or what was your kind of plan for that night?
No, I just stopped by. We were just studying, got food. We were just like hanging out, and I was about to go home.
And did you actually leave Mr. Jones's house?
I did.
Did you stop anywhere before you got home?
Yes,
And where did you stop?
a gas station.
And what, if anything, happened while you were there?
I was pumping gas. And as I was walking back to my car, I get a phone call from Jade. And I answered it, and I was like, hello? Just normal. And she immediately starts saying, what did you do? What did you put in my drink? Then I heard her say, Blaise, you're scaring me. And he was like, you're scaring me. And she was like, I know you put something in my drink. She's like, I knew my drink tasted funny. And she was asking him to empty his pockets. And she was like, let me see what's in your pockets. Let me see. And he was like, I don't have anything. So this whole time I'm like, Jade, like trying to get a response from her. So because I didn't get a response from her, I texted her and I was like, are you talking to me? What's going on? And then she was like, I know you put something in my drink because I can't even walk to drink. She was saying that she couldn't feel her legs. And then she said it again. And she was like, you put something in my drink. You did this, so something happened to me.
Give it just, you need to clean it. I want everybody to be on here, number one, but then let you calm down.
That was intense. So the image that we're getting here is where
Okay.
Can you repeat the last thing?
the image that we're getting here is basically Jade Benning basically saying, I know you put something in my drink, to Blaise Taylor. I know my first felt funny, but I want to highlight what she said, which was the fact that she said that Blaise said, you're scaring me. So it's quite peculiar. For it adds, especially to it adds to why he probably was acting the way he was acting with the paramedics when they came in. Maybe he was acting out of shock. Perhaps he kind of sunk in there that she was losing her life, and then he acted that way. I don't know, but every time I'm thinking of him saying that, it brought back the paramedics in mind, and it keeps me wondering whether he knew what had actually happened to Jade Benning.
You heard Jade say.
She said that you did this so something could happen to the baby.
Did she say anything else?
She was saying I'm about to feel like I'm about to pass out. And then towards the end of the conversation, she was like, is key. And then nothing else.
Like what?
She was saying, it was very wavy, and she was like, I heard is, and I heard with, and I heard key. And so I then merged Keontae on the phone because I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with Jade. Something sounds wrong. Listen to her. And he's like, Jade, I'm here. And at that point, you just really couldn't understand what she was saying anymore.
Ms. Jackson, I want to kind of go back. At the beginning of the call, when you could understand Jade, can you describe, based on your experience, how did she sound?
She sounded very scared. She did not sound like herself. She sounded like she needed help.
Did you say she sounded like she needed help?
Yes.
When she was saying the things that you just described to, Did she say some of those phrases more than once?
Yes.
And you said at the beginning, she said, Blaise, you're scaring me.
Yes.
And you heard him respond. Did he respond to any of the other phrases that she was saying to him?
The only thing he responded to was when she said that he was scaring her. He then said, like, you're scaring me. And then when he was asking her if she had when she was asking if he had anything in his pockets and for him to show her, he was like, I don't have anything. And that was kind of all he said.
So you could hear him on that call.
Yes.
And that's all he said during that whole time that Jade made all of those statements. So that
Yes.
she couldn't feel her legs. And she's asking him, what's in your hand? Show me your pockets. What did you put in my drink? I knew my drink tasted funny. He did not provide a response to any of that.
No.
And can you describe that call is a 6 minute and 9 second call? Kind of at what point, is it just at the end, those last few words that you really couldn't understand her?
Yes.
And you said you heard her say kind of 3 words. What were those again?
I heard is, I heard with, and I heard key.
And did you try to connect that to what that could possibly mean?
Yes. I didn't understand what she was saying, but because she sounded so scared and Keontae was just there, we all call him Key. So I was like, okay, like, she's obviously scared, like, she needs him to help her because she's with another man and Keontae is a man. So when I added him on the phone, he's talking to her, and
Is she responding at all?
no.
At any time did you think that Jade Benning was saying those phrases to you?
No.
And also, this adds to the testimony that Keontae gave when he was testifying about when he finally got on the phone with Blaise Taylor, where he basically asked him, please tell me that you did nothing to that girl. Please tell me you did nothing to that girl. This basically connects that testimony now. And it's, like I said, it's like, if Blaise really did do this, I need to see I need to see it, because so far I haven't seen anything that kind of shows that he is responsible for this. But there's so many days of the trial to go. I haven't seen anything that kind of ties it all together and connects it and basically show, yeah, there's enough here for me to see it. Because at the moment, all I have is just the paramedics and how he acted on that day. And on top of that, I'm also wondering, he's the one that called 911. No one else called 911. So those two things are kind of what's playing on my mind at the moment. But just to go on a limb, I genuinely want to see what this day has to present to kind of show this idea, because I'm now on day 4 and I haven't seen anything of the sorts.
And you heard Mr. Taylor respond, and you heard her say to Blaise, you're scaring me.
Yes.
How did that call end?
The phone hung up.
Did you hang up?
No.
At any point did Mr. Taylor say anything to you?
No.
And what did you do after that line got cut?
I called back.
Did you call back more than once?
Yes.
At some point, and you're calling back Ms. Benning's phone, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you have Blaise Taylor's phone to call him?
No.
At some point, was her phone answered?
Yes.
And who answered it when you called back?
Blaise.
And can you describe what was said in that phone call?
I answered the phone, and he answered the phone, and I was like, Blaise, like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, FaceTime me. Like, let me see her. And he doesn't FaceTime me, but he tells me that he's about to call 911.
Did you ask him several times to FaceTime you?
Yes.
And you said that you asked him what was going on. Did he answer you?
He just kept saying, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you remember him saying anything else on that call?
There was a point where he asked me if she had an EpiPen.
Did that make any sense to you?
Not at all.
Did Jade have any allergies?
Not to my knowledge.
And at that moment, can you describe, do you know what's actually going on with Jade?
No.
So what do you do?
After Blaise tells me that he's calling 911, He's like, I gotta go, like I'm calling 911, the phone disconnects again. That was not on me. And then I called Jade's mother.
And Ms. Jackson, do you remember, was Keontae Jones on that second call? Do you remember that specifically? And when I say second call, the call where you called her and Blaise Taylor answered.
Yes.
And do you remember if Keontae said anything to him or if he said anything back?
He was asking him, what did he do?
And you said that call got disconnected, but not by you.
Yes.
And then you immediately called Jade Benning's mother.
Yes.
And were you still at the gas station, or what were you doing?
I was on the interstate trying to get to Jade's apartment.
And did you make it to Jade's apartment?
Yes.
And can you describe when you got there, what was going on?
When I pulled up, the ambulance was already outside. Jade was already in the truck. Her head was to the side. And they were doing CPR. So I'm still on the phone with Bridget at this point, and I'm trying to give her something, but I can't see her face. She's just really pale. She still has on the pajamas that she was wearing when I left. And Blaise is going back and forth, and I'm just like, what happened? What happened? And then the EMT comes around and tells me that we all need to go to Vanderbilt.
Could you tell if Jade Benning was conscious?
No,
Did she look conscious?
no.
And you said that you saw Mr. Taylor going back and forth, back and forth. Can you describe what was his demeanor like when you saw him by the ambulance outside?
It was just like very anxious, kind of panicky, but he couldn't answer. He couldn't tell me what was going on, what was said. Like, I had no idea what he even called 911 and said at this point in time. And when they tell us to leave, then we both leave and meet them at the ER.
So he didn't tell you anything that happened
No.
after you left?
No.
This has kind of confirmed what I was saying earlier in regards to him, to Blaise Taylor, and the way he was acting with the paramedics. She just described him as anxious and frantic and panicky. One thing she didn't describe was what the paramedics basically said, and which was not allowing them to work, basically getting in the way. And this is likely because she is not there yet. Maybe she's not there yet to have witnessed that. But when she got there, he was a lot more anxious and panicky, etc., as she has described him. So that's the idea that I've got in my head, that he wasn't all the way together on that day as they were making out to be on because when everyone saw Blaise Taylor at the hospital, he was a lot more reserved and a lot more distant and a lot more cold, which would kind of make sense. He's kind of calm. It's kind of come down from what he was feeling at the time. But like I said, I haven't seen anything of yet. The state hasn't presented anything to show that Blaise was responsible for this particular crime. I haven't seen anything. Hopefully they will present it in the coming days as we got a lot of trials to go. Anyway, if you're enjoying this stream so far, make sure that you hit that like button so that it can really help us out with the YouTube algorithm. And also don't forget to subscribe, because we are live every Sunday from 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're watching this on replay, hi, let me know how you're feeling in the comment section. If you're watching this right now live, let me know how you're feeling in the chat. All right, let's get into this.
Do you drive to the ER?
Yes.
Do you see him again?
Yes.
And can you describe that?
I see him again in the parking lot when we get to the ER, and when we walk into checking in at the hospital. Again, I'm still on the phone with Jade's mom, and we go to the check-in, and they're asking, who are we here to see? I say Jade Benning, and they ask what's her date of birth. But they were asking our relation to the patient, and I said that's my best friend, and he told them that this was his girlfriend. And I had never heard that before. And so at this point, I'm very, very confused. I'm still trying to process and understand what I just heard on the phone. So then they asked for the patient's birthday. And since this is your girlfriend, tell her Jade's birthday. And he couldn't tell them her birthday. So I then provided that information for them.
Did he tell them anything?
That's harsh. That's harsh. He couldn't even tell them the birthday of his supposed girlfriend, and he was telling her that this is his girlfriend. Now, this is why I was saying earlier in regards to both of them having that break, because it sounded like both of them, based on the messages that were sent to the defendants, it sounded like Jade was back with him around January, and maybe she didn't tell Nigeria Jackson that they were getting back together. That happens sometimes. She may have been embarrassed because she's like, okay, I kind of betrayed my kind of code by getting back with him, or I didn't expect it. Like sometimes people go through that, and maybe that's what she was feeling at the time. But she clearly doesn't know that she was giving this guy a second chance, or maybe she does know and is in denial. Who knows? But from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't seem like she knew that. It doesn't seem like Nigeria Jackson knew that Jade was getting back together with this guy, which is why we went through the messages first before going into this.
About what happened?
The check-in?
Yes.
No.
But you said he referred to her as his girlfriend.
Yes.
Did you believe them to be in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship?
No.
And you ever heard anything about that?
No.
What was his kind of demeanor like to you? Was he kind of leaning on you for comfort, asking you things about Jade, or what was going on? What was he saying?
We'd like to read our job objection.
Okay, you kind of had a comment, kind of question there. You're asking this young lady what was Mr. Taylor's demeanor?
Yes. What was his demeanor, and was he
She
saying?
didn't answer that.
Thank you.
What was his demeanor? It was not looking for comfort. It was almost like he was just trying to figure out what was going on, but not necessarily.
Okay, by demeanor, she's talking about emotions or quiet, not what your interpretation of.
Okay. Was not crying. His demeanor was very calm per se, but more in terms of like trying to figure out what was going on, but not about the status of Jade's.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll sustain the objection. What's your next question?
Was he asking questions of the people at the hospital?
I don't know.
You don't remember him asking them anything?
No.
What were you doing?
Trying to get some answers as to what just happened, what was Jade's state. I had nothing. So I was in the room, we were in a room in the hospital, and I was just trying to figure out what was going on.
Did you provide the hospital staff with identifying information about Jade?
Yes.
Did they ask you questions about her?
Yes.
And did you provide them with information about kind of her pregnancy and things like that?
Yes.
And you said that you were in a room with Mr. Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anybody else in that room?
Not at that time.
And did you speak to him again?
Yes.
And kind of what were you saying, and what was his response?
I was asking him what was going on, like what happened. He kind of wasn't really giving me anything. He kind of explained a little bit like that she just didn't feel good. And at this point, Keontae then calls again, and he's asking what's going on. And I'm obviously very flustered and upset. And Keontae then asks to speak to Blaise.
And did you give the phone to Keontae?
Yes. Multiple ways.
Can you describe, you said that Mr. Taylor said that Ms. Benning wasn't feeling well.
Mhm.
Do you remember anything specific he said about that?
He said that she felt woozy. He said that she felt woozy and needed to lie down.
And that term woozy, was that something that was familiar to you?
No.
Is that something that Jade had she ever used that word?
No.
Did he say anything else about what happened?
He said that they danced, that they ate, They played games, and then they painted, and then she felt woozy and she needed to lie down, and that she threw up.
At what point, kind of in the progression of events that night, did he say that she threw up?
When other hospital staff came in and they were basically asking both of us kind of what happened from each of our perspectives, and when he's explaining it to someone, he then adds that in there. But I had known that she had thrown up prior to that statement.
Was that the first time you ever heard him say that?
Yes.
And is it fair to say you had asked him a multitude of times what happened?
Yes.
And so you're present when he's telling the hospital staff about what happened.
Yes.
Does he ever tell them what you heard Jade say to him on that phone call?
No.
At some point, did you tell him?
I did.
And was he there when you told him?
Yes.
What, if anything, did he say when you told them what Jade said to you?
He started talking over me and then says, "You act like you care about her more than I do, and that's the mother of my child."
Can you explain what did that statement mean to you based off of what you knew?
Can you ask that one more time?
That statement, was that a normal statement or an unusual statement?
Unusual.
I'm gonna object. She's already stated she doesn't know Mr. Taylor. This was the first time she met him.
Okay. Do you want to rephrase your question? Because I understood that.
Had you ever heard him say that before?
No.
Did you find that to be, I guess, can you describe, what did you think when he said that?
Objection irrelevant.
Care to be heard on the relevance?
Yes, Your Honor, I think the context of their relationship is state of mind. I think that it's
But
relevant
you're
to
asking
the
her to
answer.
interpret that. I'll sustain the objection.
What did you do at that point?
At that point, I tried to stay away from him as much as I could, because that upset me.
Why did it upset you?
Because she's my best friend, and that didn't matter about the relationship. Like, we should be focusing on her health and the baby's health, not about who was closer to her in that moment.
Did you
Now, this is why, especially what she said there, pay attention to what she said in regards to Blaise saying, "That's the mother of my child." You're asking that I don't care about her. That's the mother of my child. This is why I said maybe he had gotten around to being with her. Like, he had gotten around to the idea of raising his child, going around to the idea of being with her, and that's why he was making these comments. That's why he was saying that that's his girlfriend, etc. Even though, it's kind of embarrassing for you not to know your own girlfriend's day of birth, but I digress. Maybe that's what was going on here, and she just was none the wiser in regards to these changes. After all, it was just literally a month apart, like, January, February. So it wasn't that long. Maybe things did change, and it was happening very, very quickly.
tell multiple people at the hospital about what Jade said on that phone call to him?
Yes.
And at some point, did police officers arrive?
Yes.
And did you speak with them?
Yes.
And did you speak with multiple officers?
Yes.
Did you tell them about the phone call?
Yes.
And at some point, did a detective show up?
Yes.
And did you meet with him?
Yes.
And was that separate from Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
And did you give him a statement about everything that Jade said to him on that call that you heard?
Yes.
And at some point that night, did you leave the hospital?
Yes.
And can you describe when did you do that?
Maybe around like 2 a.m.
And what, if anything, did you do?
I left and went home and was trying to make sense of what I just heard.
At any point, did you see Mr. Keontae Jones again that night?
Yes.
And can you describe that?
Okay, so that's all I wanted from her at that point. Let's go into a testimony that she gave, which was in regards to the blinds being up and the cameras, because there is something here in regards to these cameras, because Jade had her own private security, her own security system where she had cameras inside the house. There was nothing found in the cameras to suggest that we can see, at least from what I've seen, nothing was really found. They haven't presented it yet anyway. If something was found, they haven't presented it yet. So, and the cameras here, apparently she wasn't expecting the blinds to be up and the camera to be there. Let's take a listen to the testimony.
Explain what you mean by that.
Every time that I've been at Jade's apartment, that white camera has been in her kitchen area. So I was very concerned as to why it was moved in her bedroom. Jade also lived on the first floor, so I was confused as to why her blinds were up and the camera was facing outward. She kept the camera in the kitchen, I'm sorry, because the front door was right there. So this was very alarming because Jade would never leave her blinds up like that, especially at night with the camera moved away from, can't see anything there.
Had you ever seen the camera in that location at this apartment or even her previous apartment?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to video number 1. Ms. Jackson, can you describe where is it that camera normally would be?
To the right of the Happiness is Homemade sign.
And if you touch that monitor in front of you, it will actually make a mark, so you can mark this specific spot that you're referring to.
Right here?
Mhm.
Oh. My God.
You need to redo it.
I'm not sure if you remember, but on the last episode that we done this, I also pointed out the camera being there. I said that could be very important later on. The fact that it's moved to the bedroom could suggest foul play. And if I'm being honest, I think that the jury probably thought that too. That the person, that whoever moved it, and they put Blaise as the person to have known to have moved this camera because he would have captured everything. The person to have administered this poisoning, that it would have been at this point that it would have been him to have moved the camera to the bedroom so that he couldn't be seen. But it has to be said, this would have been captured. Something would have been captured. So how could that be moved without anything being captured? So I'm looking forward to seeing what more could be unfold from all of this. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing to seeing what evidence is to come out of to come out of the cameras. Like if they have anything that is.
Is that where it was when you had been there earlier?
Yes.
And so when you were there earlier that night, the camera was right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you came back, it was the bedroom.
Yes.
Can you describe what, if anything, did you do related to that camera and the blinds that we just saw in her bedroom?
I moved the camera back to where it was, and I put the blinds back down.
So you moved the camera and put it back
Where?
in that spot, right by the stove.
Yes.
And why did you do that?
Because I was not sure if Blaise had an extra key or not. He did help her move in, and it was supposed to be in front of the door in case if something happened you can see. And so I put it back there because I was not sure if he were to have come back or not.
Did you have any idea if that camera was connected and recording?
I was under the impression that it was.
And I want to show you now what is video 5 and exhibit 14. Can you describe what, if anything, did you notice about this area of Ms. Benning's bedroom?
I noticed the staining on her comforter and that her covers were kind of messed up from the bottom half and not the foot of the bed and not the head of the bed.
Was that generally how she would leave her bedroom?
No.
And you were referring to that stain,
Yes.
and you've already testified that at some point at the hospital, Mr. Taylor said she threw up.
Yes.
When you saw that stain, does that look like throw up to you?
Not necessarily to me. I don't know what that looks
Your
like.
Honor, I'm gonna check this. She's not a medical professional to determine.
Okay, she said she's not sure what that was.
Was that something that stood out to you?
Yes,
And why?
because Jade wouldn't have her comforter dirty, and Blaise had already told me that she threw up.
Did you do anything to try to locate evidence of throw up?
Yes, I looked in the trash can, I looked in the washer and dryer, any nook and cranny around her apartment to see where this throw up was.
Okay, so that's all I wanted from that testimony. We're now going to go into the cross examination, where sorry, not cross examination. We're now going to go into the remaining testimony from Nigeria. It is, what am I saying? It is cross examination. My bad. We're now going to go into cross examination where we're going to test where Nigeria Jackson is going to give testimony about the message that she has sent to Jade, saying that she needs to decide before it's too late. So let's go into that testimony right now on cross examination, where she was being quizzed about the state of the relationship between Blaise Taylor and Jade Benning.
You know what that discussion was about?
I asked her about Indiana one time. We never went, and we never talked about it again.
Well, why would you talk about it if it wasn't an option for her?
We were just discussing as girls, as friends, like what.
Didn't you also say on one occasion, well, 2 weeks, you need to decide because it'll be too late? Didn't you say that to her?
I didn't see that. Can I please see that?
You may.
Get that.
This is what they're talking about. What they're discussing right now is in regards to what they're discussing right now is in regards to the abortion that she was supposed to have. Like, she was apparently Jade was entertaining the idea of having an abortion, and she.
Okay, so you were discussing it because she was considering an abortion, correct?
We were just discussing. She didn't say she was getting an abortion.
I understand, but she was considering it, wasn't she?
Objection, Your Honor. She has mischaracterized the witness's testimony.
Okay. So she said she checks that. She doesn't know what Ms. Benning was considering. Go ahead.
So when Ms. Benning then texts you, well, you text Ms. Benning, you need to find out ASAP. This is on November the 2nd. She responds, Indiana is the closest place to go if I make that decision. She was speaking about an abortion, was she not?
I already said that we discussed multiple options. It wasn't like a definitive answer.
Okay.
We were just talking.
So when
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
when Mr. Taylor reached back out to Ms. Benning on December 31st, after he no longer considered an abortion, it's no different. It was just different times. Isn't that correct?
I'm sorry?
What is your question? That's a statement.
No, I said, isn't that correct? That's a question.
That Mr.
When Mr. Taylor-
What Mr. Taylor thought.
When Mr. Taylor reached back out to Ms. Benning on December 31st, do you remember that?
I don't remember the day when he reached back out. It was, I don't know.
You remember when she told you she went to the park with Mr. Taylor?
I do.
On January the 1st?
Yes.
And they sat there for 4 to 5 hours and talked?
Yes.
And after that date, did she ever tell you that Mr. Taylor talked to her about having an abortion after that?
I don't recall.
So is it your statement that he could have, or you don't recall him ever saying that?
Is there messages that I could potentially read about it?
I can give you the messages between you and Ms. Benning from January 1st all the way up to February 25th if you would like me to.
I'm speaking about this question that you're asking me now.
My question is from January 1st of 2023 until February 25th of 2023. Did Ms. Benning ever come to you about Mr. Taylor trying to pressure her or ask her to get an abortion? Yes or no, ma'am?
No.
Thank you. Now, during this time that from the January 1st until the February 25th, isn't it true that you believed that Mr. Taylor was trying to work on the relationship?
I can't necessarily speak for what he was doing.
Okay, but did you remember talking to one of the detectives?
Saying what again? I'm sorry.
That Mr. Taylor was trying to work on the relationship.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what you shared with the detective, right? I would have to pull it out. I can't. This witness is not honest.
Go ahead. What's your
Thank you.
question?
I'd like to move on.
All right, go ahead.
Now, when talking about Mr. Taylor and Miss Benning from February 1st until February 25th, Miss Benning never complained to you in any form or fashion about Mr. Taylor being abusive to her, pressuring her in any kind of way. Isn't that true?
Correct.
Now, when Mr. Taylor and Miss Benning parted ways on November the 6th of 2022, it was Miss Benning who sent the text message to Mr. Taylor that they should go their separate ways. Would you agree?
Not initially.
So are you saying that Mr. Taylor wanted to part ways first?
He made mention of it
Okay, and when did he make mention of that?
when she found out she was pregnant.
And where did you see that? Did she tell you that in person or via text, or how did she tell you
It
that?
might be in the text messages, or she might have told, or she probably told me on the phone.
Right, because I've looked through the text messages, that's not there.
On the phone.
Okay, do you want to ask questions or testify?
So, when Miss Benning sent the text on November the 6th, in fact, she said, we're at an impasse. Isn't that what she said? Because she sent the text message to you, you testified to it, remember?
Yes, can I see this text message, please?
Yeah. Do you need a copy of that November 6th text? That's the text that you testified to on direct examination that you edited, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one where it was Miss Benning who sent the text message to Mr. Taylor, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
And what she says is, we need to go our separate ways. Isn't that what she said?
Do you want me to, am I supposed to read it, or?
No, I just asked you whether or not she said it.
Yes.
Okay. And she never shared with you that after that, Mr. Taylor tried to continue to call her, continue to try to force her to have an abortion or anything of the sort, did she?
Can you repeat that, I'm sorry?
After that text message, Miss Benning never shared with you that Mr. Taylor tried to force her, coerce her, or do anything to force her to have an abortion, did she?
No.
Okay. Now, let's move on to February 25th. But before we do that, you did say on direct examination that you were willing to be this child's father, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you were going to move in with her to help raise the baby, correct?
If need be.
And I think, did you refer to them as your babies, her and the baby, Jade and the baby were your babies?
When did I say that?
I'm asking if you ever referred to them as that.
I don't remember.
Okay, so that's all I wanted from that testimony. We're now going to go into the next witness, and she goes by the name of Dr. Erin Carney. She is the medical examiner that presided over this case, that conducted the Jade Benning's autopsy, and she is going to give testimony about what was found in with the toxicology report, with the toxicology report of Jade Benning. She also, interestingly, when Jade was in hospital, when she got admitted, she was notified already. So it was as if the hospital knew that she was gonna die immediately. So they notified her on the 28th of February 2023 about Jade Benning's death before she was officially dead on the 7th of March 2023. So yeah, let's go into her testimony right now, where she's testifying about the presence of cocaine in the toxicology of Jade Benning.
Requested, is it related to just the item 001 hospital blood?
So if you see under testing requested, I asked for the 1303B test, which is cocaine and products panel on the blood, and then the 1480B designer opioids on the blood. And
going to just that first blood sample from the 225-23 at 2231, can you describe the toxicology results and kind of what those results mean? What is the result related to cocaine with result of 78?
So this is the actual parent drug, cocaine, that was present at 78 nanograms per milliliter in the blood.
And can you describe what that means of parent cocaine? When someone ingests cocaine, are there things that happen within your body, and are there other substances that are created?
Yes, so the body will absorb the cocaine and have this parent drug, cocaine, in the blood. And then, like I mentioned, the enzymes will break it down, and so you have breakdown products. So these other two that are listed, the benzyl egonine and the egonine methyl ester, are the breakdown products.
And can you describe the difference between the two?
So you typically don't see a large amount of egonine methyl ester circulating in a live person's blood, but it very well can form post-mortem in a tube of blood or even in the body as the blood sits there and they're awaiting to have their blood drawn, for example, at an autopsy. So when we look at these breakdown products in the autopsy setting, this egonine methyl ester was likely parent cocaine at the time of the person's blood draw.
Your Honor,
But it's
I would object to this witness testifying to things that relate to toxicology as opposed to a pathologist, and she has not been qualified as an expert on toxicology.
Okay, do you want to ask whether she can, her experience, make that connection?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm happy to. Dr. Carney, do you have training and experience in toxicology and interpreting these findings because it is required for you to determine the cause of death?
Yes, ma'am. That's part of my job, is to take toxicology results in the autopsy setting and apply them and determine the cause of death.
Do you perform autopsies where the outcome of the circumstances is the person overdosed on narcotics?
Yes.
And so is this something that you do on a regular basis?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you extremely familiar with the topic that you were speaking about?
Yes.
All right, I'll overrule objection.
Can I take the witness on board, Honor?
I'll overrule objection. Go ahead.
If you could continue, you were explaining that the egonine methyl ester, that it was most likely the parent cocaine. Can you describe what you mean by that?
So like I mentioned, this cocaine is not the only drug that does this, where the enzymes in the blood can continue to break it down after death. Most everything else relies on being circulated through the liver, and really nothing changes after death as far as if you get them to autopsy soon after death. In this case, the egonine methyl ester has formed because the esterase is in that clear top tube that didn't have the preservative to stop the breakdown, has broken down the cocaine into egonine methyl ester. So if you add the cocaine number and the egonine methyl ester number together, that will give us an idea of how much cocaine was in her blood at that point in time on February 25th, 2023 at 2231.
And so is it your testimony that that amount would be 7,878 nanograms per milliliter?
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be the concentration of cocaine in Jade Benning's blood on February 25th, 2023 at 22:31 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Carney, you've already testified that you had performed autopsies where someone has overdosed. Can you describe, is that amount of cocaine in a person's blood, is that common?
No.
And so when you first got this case, you said you were talking to Dr. Larry, is that correct?
Correct.
Did people from my office, including myself, meet with you kind of early in the process, specifically about these toxicology results?
Yes.
And at that time when we met, had you ever seen an amount that high in an autopsy?
No.
And did you, I guess, go back and look at other autopsies that were done in your office?
I look primarily at my cases because I'm familiar with those and interpreted those. And that was almost 300 cases that I signed out, the cause of death or contributory cause of death, including the drug cocaine.
And in that first time that we met, had you ever seen anything close to that level?
I can never recall anything this high.
What would a typical level be in a overdose where it's just cocaine, no other substances, that you were familiar with from your 300 cases?
So I went back over the acute cocaine intoxications, and they're pretty much all under 1,000 nanograms per milliliter. 2 or 3 were in the 1,000 to 2,000 range.
And
You got to think about that. The idea that the normal intoxications of cocaine that she has witnessed is 1,000 nanograms per milliliter. That's 1,000. This one had 778, which means 7,800 nanograms. I'm guessing anyway, around, which would be around that, if I'm understanding right, or maybe 7. Yeah, if I'm understanding right, this is 78. So that's a lot in your system. That's almost that will kill you. That will destroy you completely. So for Jade to have that much in her system, it makes sense why there was no chance whatsoever for her to survive this, for her to go to hospital and come out healed. There was no way that was gonna happen. She was already dead. Maybe. And the more I listen to it, I keep going back to the paramedic scene, where the paramedics were testifying that Blaise Taylor was not allowing him to do that job. Maybe he knew that she was not surviving it. Maybe it was guilty conscience. That's the way I'm seeing it, and I'm trying to think of the impact of the jury, of the testimonies to the jury. I think that this would be impactful. This is very impactful.
Since that first meeting that we have, did you do another review looking for anything that compared to this particular result?
I did go back through looking at all of my acute cocaine intoxications, really trying to look at those carefully. I even looked at dozens of the ones that had cocaine plus other drugs involved.
And did you find anything that was similar to that amount of 78 nanograms per milliliter?
I found one.
And can you describe what was the result in the one case that you found?
The cocaine level was 10,000 nanograms per milliliter in the blood.
And going back to the ones that you had done that you initially reviewed where 1,000 was the highest, can you describe what were the findings in your autopsies of the method of ingestion?
So a lot of these we do have scene investigations. They look for drug paraphernalia, and in many of those you would find evidence that the person smoked it, or perhaps we would call it nasal insufflation or snorting it, or intravenous injection if they were able to put it in a syringe and inject it into their veins.
Had you ever, done an autopsy before where oral ingestion was the method?
It's very uncommon, and I did not recall cocaine ingestion being a common method of administration.
And that one case that you found at the medical examiner's office, an autopsy was performed, what was the method, or can you just describe the circumstances of that particular case?
That one was believed to be ingestion. It was someone who had been taken into custody, was believed to have swallowed something while in intake at the detention center, and then died during the booking process.
And when you say died during the booking process, what was the amount of time? And if you said they ingested it, how did they ingest it?
Swallowed.
So it's an oral ingestion. Do you know an approximate time frame?
I don't, but it did not sound like it was a very long period of time.
So something that happened fairly quickly, comparatively speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
And in that autopsy, are you familiar with autopsies where there's been other oral ingestions of cocaine?
I did have another one with oral ingestion of cocaine, but it was mixed with another drug. And we knew that it was oral ingestion because I found the bag with the crystalline substance that had broken open that was still in the stomach.
And typically, what is the result going to be for cocaine in a case like that where someone swallowed a bullet? Have you looked at any data related to that?
Yes. So in the literature, it shows that those are the cases where they swallow cocaine in an attempt to transport it somewhere internally, not to use it for its effects, or they swallow it to avoid perhaps being caught with it. In those cases, the cocaine level is high.
Is it as high as the 78 or the 10,000 in the other case?
Yes.
And specifically that case with the 10,000, in that autopsy, was there a bag found?
No.
And can you describe what would the bag potentially have to do with what the cocaine level would ultimately be?
Well, if you have a bag or some sort of protective covering, then that's going to delay the time because then the acid in your stomach has to kind of break through that bag in order to get to the drug. So it should delay it.
And can you describe what information did you have about the method of ingestion related to Jade Benning and the subsequent cocaine testing?
I found from the police investigation, there was concern that she may have ingested it by drinking it.
And are you familiar with the additional testing from NMS labs, specifically of the substance on the comforter?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
What's your objection?
The line of questioning that she's going into in regards to any findings on that comfort at this stage.
Okay, do you carry her?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking her.
She factored in something from a further test of the comforter?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, let the lawyer look at it.
So if I'm getting it straight, if I'm getting it, they're saying that that it's possible that Jade could have ingested it by drinking it. That was what essentially happened here by ingesting it orally, which got me thinking, if that was the case and she ingested it orally, then it kind of a lot of things has to come into play for that, because what I'm thinking is ingesting it orally is going to be a lot more lethal. That's why I don't know why I am having that kind of thought, but it just sounds like it's going to be way more lethal, and maybe that's why Jade did not saying things like I can't feel my legs, etc. This is where I appreciate child channel.
Making your substance for cause of death, are you considering other testing that's done, things from the scene? What do you consider?
So forensic pathologists don't work in a vacuum. We do need that information from the scene, from the police investigation, so that way we can appropriately direct our testing, especially in a case like this when I don't have a lot of admission blood to work with. So we do look at that in totality.
And can you describe what information did you have? Did you make a determination as to how Ms. Benning ingested the cocaine that resulted in that toxicology report?
Well, yes. So based on the high level of cocaine, and knowing even from the literature, from the toxicology textbook, that you really see this in an oral ingestion, which is consistent with the investigation, I actually signed her death certificate to say ingested cocaine.
And going back to kind of the toxicology, when you're looking at you said ingestion and levels, are there any studies that you sometimes reference to make a determination about maybe when the substance was ingested compared to when the level of the toxicology report is done?
Yes, so there are studies, and they've kind of pulled everything together, even in our toxicology textbook, that looks at the time frame from the time that it was taken into the body by whatever method, and the kind of high level, the peak level is found.
And in those studies, I guess, can you describe what do you mean by peak level?
Well, in the study scenario, when you're actually administering cocaine to a volunteer, you can draw their blood serially and look and see how the levels, how the numbers change to try to determine how high are they going to go and at what point do they get there. So they've done those sorts of studies with low levels of cocaine.
And is that those types of studies, are they looking at the half-life of cocaine or whatever the substance is?
They are. So they look at how quickly it shows up in the blood, what the numbers are, and then how long it takes for the parent cocaine to be broken down into those breakdown products, including that inactive metabolite benzoyl that you see.
And you referenced the studies that they were giving test subjects cocaine. What form of cocaine are given in those studies?
So there was one that I found that was for the oral ingestion. It was a capsule form, and it was, I believe, 100 and 200 milligram capsules.
In those studies where we have this capsule, are the peak levels anywhere near as high as the studies?
No.
Can you explain what would happen if they were?
They would be deceased.
And looking at those studies, which obviously you've explained, it's a capsule, it's a low dose, what is the peak time generally?
So usually for those, the oral ingestion takes a while. I mean, the absorption from oral ingestion takes a while, so like 45 minutes to an hour. Now, they did have one where they looked, in this country, ingestion is not a common thing, but in other countries, they may be able to chew those powdered coca leaves, and then they looked at those individuals with the low levels of cocaine chewing the leaves, and they saw the levels peaking at 24 minutes to an hour or two. And that's not in the capsule form.
And you said for the capsule, 45 minutes to an hour was kind of common.
Yes.
Are there any studies on anyone ingesting liquid cocaine?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Is it possible to liquefy cocaine?
Sure.
And kind of comparatively speaking, those studies with the capsules, you can't really relate it to a liquid cocaine. It's different. Is that correct?
That's correct, because liquid medications are absorbed more quickly than a capsule or a hard, like, tablet form.
Okay, so that's all I wanted from that. The next part that I want to get into is where she gave testimony in regards to the C-section. If you remember from the last episode, there was a cross-examination about the possibility of C-section being performed by the family, and was to save the baby's life. So that was what the defense were putting up on their cross-examination. They said that the family opted not to go for the C-section to save the child's life, and Blaise Taylor was not part of the decision, which I felt was a great argument at the time. Well, the state provided a rebuttal for that particular argument, and it was through Dr. Carney's testimony about the C-section and what would have happened if the child was given birth this way. Let's take a listen to the testimony.
Because again, she doesn't have, her heart is responding to not getting enough oxygen. It's not beating normally, because normally the heart rate is much higher. So I know there was a lot of concern that, the baby wasn't getting enough oxygen and was already in the same kind of scenario as mother with that anoxic brain injury.
Is it possible, if anyone made a decision to do a cesarean section and take the baby, is it possible the baby would be in the exact same condition as Miss Betty?
Yes, and then you have also the added challenge of, at that point when she first went into the hospital, the baby was only about 24 weeks, even 25 at autopsy. So at that point, the lungs aren't very well developed, and it's really difficult to oxygenate those little ones and for them to survive.
So there you have it. So any thoughts that I was having about any thought that the defense was having about there could be a possibility of the baby being born from the C-section is gone. And this is great for the state for a number of reasons, especially the reason of, well, it wouldn't have mattered what the family chose to do anyway, because the child had no chance of survival based on the date of the pregnancy. The lungs, as she just testified there, was not developed enough for the baby to self respire. I'm not sure if that's the word. Basically breathe by themselves if they were to be born. The baby was not even at that stage. Also, so that goes against them. The baby also wasn't. The baby wasn't even going to be at any healthier condition than Jade. The baby was in the same condition as Jade. So right now it's right back to the same situation that Blaise found himself in, which was the fact that this baby. So the same argument, we're right back to the same argument being made, which was, okay, he is responsible for the death of the child as well because he wanted to kill the child. It's the premeditated state of the child and the mother that he wanted to kill the child and the mother for that she cannot go through with the baby. That's what's going on here. So anyway, I'll leave it there. That's all we have time for today. Hopefully you have enjoyed the show. Thank you so much everyone of you for tuning in. We'll be back next week from 4 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know why I'm forgetting my own show time. Anyway, we're back next week from 4 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you head over to catchupcall.info. This is where you can give us. This is where you can suggest a case for us to cover by going on and contact us, and then give the case name that you may want us to cover on the show. Also, don't forget to go and check out the Blaise Taylor repository, as well as the trial reports for the Blaise Taylor case, because we have now got day one catch up, where it'll be easier for you to catch up and learn about this case. So head over to catchupcall.info. This is where you will find out every piece of information to that is pertaining to this particular trial. So without further, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, every one of you, for tuning in. Take good care of yourselves. Have a great evening. And we're back next week, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern time for the remainder of this trial. I can't wait to see what more can be given by this trial. I can't wait to see what the state has to put on, because there's so much to discuss here. There is so much to this case. Anyway, I'll leave you there. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Take care of yourself. Bye for now. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Catch Up Call live stream. Make sure that you smash that like button, as well as hitting that subscribe button to be notified of our future live streams. We go live regularly, bringing you case updates and recaps of ongoing trials. So make sure you hurry back on the next live stream. We also have more content on the channel that you can binge on. Check out the playlist that we have showcasing all of these contents. Without further, I go by the name of Heinz, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and I'll see you back in court.